Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're discussing the dreaded D word. That's right, diet. We're talking about my favorite calorie and macro tracking app, MacroFactor. Now some people may be able to intuitively understand that they shouldn't eat an entire pizza in one sitting. I am not that type of person. So I need a little bit of help when I'm looking for a body composition change, whether it's going up or it's going down. Today we're going to discuss the power of calorie tracking, the power of macro tracking, and this app that is absolutely fantastic. Before we get started, obviously I'm not sponsored by this app at all, but I do think it is a fantastic product that can help you make the body composition change that you have been struggling with. I have struggled with weight my entire life. I have used a multitude of calorie and macro tracking apps, MyFitnessPal, Lose It, I've used the RP Diet app, and all of them are excellent. But I feel like MacroFactor has three key features that really elevate it above the rest of these diet apps that I'd love for these diet apps to implement in the future. Feature number one, and my personal favorite feature, is the weight trend line. I become very emotionally attached to seeing my weight go down on the scale. I feel like every time I step onto the scale and it's even up by a 0.1 or 0.2 pounds, all of my hard work has gone down the drain and I have completely been wasting my time. I've been hungry for no reason and I'm ready to just throw in the towel and grab a pint of ice cream and go buck wild. The great news and the revolutionary way that MacroFactor does their weight tracking is more so in a trend line. The people that develop this app understand that weight fluctuates up and down. Stress levels, hormone levels, sodium intake can all have an impact on whether or not you're holding water and thus your scale weight going up. I've seen scale weight fluctuations of up to 3 to 5 pounds. God forbid you step on the scale one morning and your weight is up 5 pounds from where you were. If you didn't have a trend line down or up, you'd be ready to just blow the whole thing up and go and grab some pizza. Like, it's very discouraging to see that weight trend. But if you add that weight into your MacroFactor app and you see that it's part of a larger trend, it can take some of the sting out of it, at least for me. When I put my scale weight in and it does its algorithm and shows me that my trend line is still going down, don't panic, you've just seen a little bit of a blip, but overall weight loss is a progression downwards, then you know what? I take a couple deep breaths and I move on with the rest of my day, because at the end of the day, it is just data. I understand that the process that I'm going through to lose weight, if I'm doing what I need to be doing, staying in a calorie deficit, the process will lead to the outcome down the line. So one or two little bumps on the road are not going to be what derails me. The way that the weight trend line is presented makes the weigh-ins feel more like data collection rather than, oh, my weight is up today, I'm not doing well, I'm a terrible human being. It's just data collection. You just take your weight, you put it into the app, and you move on with the rest of your day. It has been an excellent help to me mentally as well as physically to see, okay, I'm trending downwards, and then to see how my body composition is changing. Because at the end of the day, I truly believe that weight loss is very, very mental. And if you can stay in it and stay committed by seeing your trend line down or your trend line up if you're going into a bulking phase, it helps immensely. Piggybacking off of the mental aspect of feature number one, we move on to feature number two that I really love, which is no judgment food tracking. Now, previous apps that I've used in the past have given me a red flashing over, and you feel like you've given state secrets to the Russians and the FBI is going to be knocking down your door if you've gone over even 100 calories, which at the end of the day is just so debilitating to think about, oh my God, I really failed this day. MacroFactor takes a different approach. If you go over your calories, if you go over your macros for that day, there is no alert box. There is no, you went over. There's none of that. It's literally just, okay, input your data, and then it adjusts your subsequent days of calorie tracking up or down based on how much you consumed that day. During a 16-week fat loss phase, hell, even a 12-week or an 8-week fat loss phase, there are going to be moments when you slip up. That is just part of the process. But what's great about MacroFactor is it takes it from being one day with a terrible alert that you've done terribly, you've overdone your calories, and now it's time to quit, and it allows you to just say, you know what? I slipped up a little bit today. Tomorrow, I've readjusted my calories down, so my weekly calories are gonna be the same. It's all good in the hood, baby. We're chilling. You'll notice a pattern with these features that I really enjoy, and I think it's taking mindfulness into account. It's taking a little bit of the mental aspect of dieting into account with this app. It's got it built in so that you can never panic. You can always be under control and understand that this is data. There's no emotion connected to it. You're just inputting numbers and then you're moving on with the rest of your day. That's something that I really, really love, to take the emotion out of dieting. We have reached the third and final feature of MacroFactor that I would like to discuss today that I really, really enjoy. The developers took a little bit of a page out of the handbook of Snapchat for this one, because if you have ever used Snapchat and you've been sending snaps back and forth to your friends, you know that you start to get a streak going. And towards the end of that streak, when you're not even talking to that friend anymore, you want to just keep seeing that number tick up and keep getting that dopamine hit, right? Because you have created a habit of sending snaps back and forth. Obviously, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but MacroFactor has habit tracking built into the app with your nutrition tracking and your weight tracking. So over time, as you start to see 70 days tracked, 80 days tracked, it becomes very, very rewarding to continue that streak and to continue tracking. There have been days, especially with my weight tracking, that I've stepped on the scale and said, you know what, my weight's up really high. I don't want to input this into my app today because I feel like I've failed. But because I have that habit tracking, I say, yeah, I gotta keep this streak going, man. I need that dopamine hit. I gotta go up to 90 days. So I do input it, and then it becomes less emotional. Like I keep saying, like I keep harping on, weight loss can be very emotional if you let it. But if you look at it just as data, it can be very empowering. MacroFactor does everything that you would want in terms of food library, in terms of nutrition content. It is an incredibly dense app in terms of their food options. It also has an AI describe feature, which is really great, where you can talk into your phone and say, hey, okay, on my plate is a chicken breast, some broccoli, and like 50 pieces of potato. And it will do its best to determine what the actual macro content of that meal is, which is excellent. So it does everything you want in a macro tracking app, but I think these three features in terms of mentality are what really set it apart, and why I will be continuing to use it even as I transition out of a weight loss phase and into a maintenance phase. I'm very excited to see how strong I can get while making sure my maintenance nutrition is on point with MacroFactor. I would encourage you to give this app a try. You can do a 2-week free trial, and then I think it's like $30 a month, but it is well worth it. You get a feature-rich, packed app with everything that you need to make a meaningful body composition change. I cannot say enough good things about it. Friends, now that we've gotten your nutrition on point, we can learn how to get as strong as possible. So click right over here to learn some great techniques to increase your squat, while also supporting those techniques with great nutrition outside of the gym, hopefully using MacroFactor. I will talk to you in the next one. Have a great day and a great rest of your week. Get strong and stay strong. Peace.